Megan Thee Stallion has a song in Dix the Musical titled Out Alpha the Alpha. And this is the most brazen display of violent misandry I have seen in pop culture as of late. And there are many. But she, in this song, literally calls for the unaliving of the entire male population and the utopia of women running society that would follow.
Let's let people look at the picture first. So, like, this picture, even itself, if
she's
you reverse...
leading men around on leashes here. She is the ultimate girl boss, the neoliberal girl boss that raps about her genitalia and calls men weak, stupid little boys. They're not very smart. They just make lots of noise. They got their nose up my ass. They want to be teacher's pet. So I keep them on their toes and make those effers sweat. And then the worst lyric in this song is, imagine, if you will, we murdered all the males. A woman-driven world where equity prevails. Sadly, that's not how it is, but don't you get upset. I'll put those boys right in their place. I'm not going to say the word after that. But this is the point of the song. She is trying to dominate the world, and her takeover plan, Rolling Stone says, includes getting rid of all of the men on the planet. So I just think this is based on their ideology that all the jokes you make have to be punching up. So if women are below men in the Marxist social hierarchy, they're allowed to make jokes about killing men and degrading men, and calling them stupid, weak little boys. That's fine. We can laugh at that even. We can celebrate that. You know, all the comments are celebrating it. Get that bag, queen. She ate that. Like, there are no critical comments on this song. It's been released already. And nobody has anything to say on it because misandry has just become so commonplace. It's the status quo now. Yep. And if a man makes the slightest dig in the other direction at women,
he's insecure.
He's insecure. Really, his career gets destroyed. So it's just disheartening to see this normalized in culture. Like, we don't need more division between the sexes. It's truly demonic and that they keep promoting it.
Yeah, and
there is nothing more demonic than trying to divide the sexes and pit them against each other. I truly believe that.
How do you fix it?
Don't go see Dix the Musical.
I mean, I think one of the problems is also like we're steeped,
I don't know.
Like even in this space, people are steeped in the culture, right? There's a reason why the women have the stuff that they watch, the men have the podcasts that they watch.
Exactly.
And
so
both of them
the men are watching Andrew Tate. The women are playing this Megan Thee Stallion song in the car, and they've never been more politically divided than they are today.
Nobody loses except for everybody loses. But
the people at the top make money off of it.
Yeah.
It's abhorrent.
I still wonder sometimes about how, like, I still laugh at the idea when people say that music isn't social engineering, because it's like, well, why is it that like only certain themes seem to be able to permeate the culture and make it into the mainstream? I was pointing out to someone the other day, I was was like, look, that Lil Tay song, it's literally a love letter to consumerism and worship of wealth.
Gold digging.
And I mean, I didn't even think of it that way. I just like, it was a worship of wealth and consumerism and the desire to want more than one has, and the constant need for financial, for like overabundance in financial settings, which is fine, but is it though? But at the age of 14, a kid doesn't understand that,
dancing
right?
around a bunch of McLarens.
Yeah, like
and throwing money around.
So like we push that message on kids from a very, very young age, and then you wonder how people become slaves to corporate need.
Like pop music and I guess rap music, which has usurped it, all it does is celebrate the deadly sins. Yep. Like I was just listening to this song that was like Muzak playing in the background somewhere, that the lyric in the chorus was, "I'm broken and it's beautiful." Like, that is vanity embodied in a song, and it conditions people who listen to it to conform their mindset.
In what
that
way? In what way?
To think I'm perfect no matter what anyone says about me. I have no ways that I could possibly improve myself.
You know how that
better
got
accept
started?
me for how I am.
You know how that got started, right? It was if you can't accept me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Sincerely, the woman who's never at her best. Ever.
Exactly.
Literally ever, right? And in both sides of the culture now, I really do think that at the end of the day, it comes back to financial motive. That perhaps many of these people have a desire to help other people, but it becomes more about the money to be made in all of these industries.
It's very hypocritical, though, because look at Beyonce, for instance, writing all of these songs about being an independent woman. Men ain't shit. You don't need a man for anything. Coming from a woman who is richer than almost anybody in human history, and who has been married in a committed relationship, rocky as it may be, since she was like 20 years old.
Yeah.
She's not living the message that she's promoting to her fans.
Yeah.
Who are imbibing it and living it out, and it's leading to their destruction.
And it's funny because growing up, I think that maybe it's because for me, I always had a very strong gap between how I perceived the music, because I grew up loving rap music, which wasn't my lived experience, right? So I understood that what I was listening to was not my life, nor was it a life that I ever expected to have. And I think that maybe that was easier for me because it was such a difference. Like, the idea was like, no matter what it was, I still grew up lower middle class in a suburb, right? Like, I didn't grow up in the...
takes a level of discernment that I just think people don't have anymore.
Think so?
Like, I don't know, especially with the female rappers.
Yeah.
They don't live out the shit that they rap about. They don't.
Also, I mean, the other argument here is like, look, yes, you could survive in a world without men as long as you don't want to have modern plumbing or electricity.
But you'll have equity. Because everybody will be equally fucked.
Somebody can pick up, like, in Meghan Thee Stallion's perfect world, it's a woman who comes to pick up her garbage can at her mansion.
They had garbage pick up Barbie in the Barbie movie.
There you go.
They also had President Barbie, and theoretically they're social equals.
It does feel more and more like people are on this mission to just ignore that there's different classes in society right now. Like the elites want to push the idea that everyone's the same, but that's just never the way it's going to be. That's why they want the guy who works at the grocery store to be paid the same amount as the guy who's the CEO, even though everyone knows that that's not really how the world works. But it seems like what a lot of the world is now is everyone railing against the idea of how the world, like, it used to be a value, at least in my opinion, to accept that life isn't fair. And that the best thing you can hope for in a lot of cases is that you make the best of your life in your own corner of the world, and you figure out how to get the most out of your life without worrying about how the guy next to you's life is different from yours, either better or worse. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the idea that when your parents would say, like, if you don't finish your dinner, like, there's a starving kid in Africa, how dare you not finish your dinner? And then as you get older, you realize they're like, what does one have to do with the other?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like this food was going to the starving kid in Africa anyways, right? But everyone's kind of in this mentality now. I love the meme that shows the three people at the baseball game, and it's got the different levels, and it's got the baby who's on the 2 boxes so he can see over the fence. It's got the middle, like, the teenager on 1 box so he can see over the fence, and the adult can already see over the fence.
The representation
it says this is equity.
Equal opportunity.
The guy goes, actually, they're all stealing because they haven't paid to watch the game. Like, it's a denial of reality, and I think a song like this leans into that, because there was actually a video that went fairly viral recently, and I was gonna use it for cringe of the day, but I think the music over it ended up being licensed, so we ended up not being able to. It says, like, it was literally a video that says, like, do we need men anymore? And it was a bunch of, Western women saying, like, no, men are not important.
I mean, of course you wouldn't think that, because, like, the men that make comfortable modern life happen are the ones that you don't see.
And I wouldn't want to see a video either of, like, a dude who goes, look, do we need women anymore? no, what do we need women for? Like, no.
I mean, Pearl said the same thing. She was like, if all women disappeared from the earth tomorrow, everything would be a perfect utopia.
That's not true.
That idea, it's incredibly sinister to promote that idea.
And ridiculous.
Yes.
And it's ridiculous at that. Like, there's, however, like a meme. It says, it's a guy. He's like looking contemplatively out at the ocean. It says like 3.8 billion women in the world. I can't believe it's not clean yet. See, stuff like that makes you laugh, but I'm just saying, it's like we're in a culture now where we're not really helped by what's popular on social media. It doesn't help us, and I fully am willing to admit that I engage many of those videos. They make me laugh, but I do understand that on its face, it's more sinister than a lot of people give it credit for. And songs like this being pushed by music labels, not realizing that they're also kind of contributing to that divide.
Like, why be surprised when young men are finally pushing back after their entire lives they've been told that they are wastes of space and they are essentially nature's mistake.
I mean, like, this started before this recent. I mean, even in my generation, I've said this before. It's like when I was growing up, our generation worked overtime to make sure that girls, that were my age at that time, understood, like, look, you can be the president one day. You can be a CEO. You can do anything you want in your life. You don't have to just get married and have kids. That was in full effect already at that time. But they didn't really explain to this generation of boys, like, what are you going to do now?
I think what that message should have been is, if you're exceptional, you can do these things. If you're not, you can't.
And that's okay.
And that applies to everyone. That applies to men and women. Exceptional women can be CEO girl bosses, but that's the point. It's the exception, not the rule.
Mary, I would love to have a podcast the size of Joe Rogan. Unfortunately, I am not Joe Rogan, nor will I ever be. I'm okay with that.
I'm not the president, nor will I ever be.
Only because you don't want to run, though, right?
Most people, but most people aren't capable of doing great things. Period.
And that's okay. We don't all need to be exceptional. That's fine. I am completely fine with being mediocre. I'm fine with that. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.